Welcome back to Educator.com. This is the lesson we're going to talk about entering sales information in QuickBooks. The first thing we're going to go through right now is we're going to talk about the various types of sales forms that we can use in our business. This is the most important aspect of your business is sales. That's why you are in business, is to generate revenue, generate income. And QuickBooks is the system that we want to use to generate and track our income. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the various forms that QuickBooks uses in tracking our sales. We might have a transaction where we are selling a product over the counter, where we're collecting the funds at the time of service. That's where we would send them and want to utilize a sales receipt. If we have provided service and product in which we will be paid at a later date, then we will want to use an invoice, a sales form called Invoices. So we're going to look at those various forms. From our home screen, we can get to the invoice by clicking on this icon here, or if we go up to our icon menu bar, we have the Create an Invoice icon menu bar, or from the Customer menu, we can choose our Create Invoices here, or even enter sales receipts here as well. So we're going to actually look at the invoice screen just so we can see what it looks like. It pulls up, when we click on our Create Invoices, it pulls up the invoice form, and we have various templates that we can use, or even create new templates for the invoice. We can actually customize it, put in our logo. We can remove certain lines we want. So if we look at this particular preview of this invoice, we have all these boxes. If you don't want the boxes, you can actually customize it in the template. We'll be talking about customizing forms in a later lesson, but you can remove these boxes. You can put in your logo. You can change anything you want. You can change the font type, anything you like. You can pretty much customize in QuickBooks for Windows. We'll close that window down. And if we click on Previous, it'll pull up our previous invoice, and we'll notice that it has the customer bill to information, a ship to, which could be a different address. It has the items that we have sold to the individual, a gas range top double oven, all these types of items that we have sold to the customer, and also if there is a tax, state tax or county tax related to that. So there's a sales tax involved in this particular customer, of which they're paying 7.5% tax, which will track that for you as well. So that's our invoices when we want to collect for services rendered at a later date. If we want to, we'll go ahead and close this down, and now we'll go ahead and look at a sales. We'll look at a sales receipt. So from our customer menu here, we can choose sales receipts, or enter sales receipts here, and we can click on previous as well. And when we look at the previous button, it'll pull up our last sales receipt for the particular customer, and it'll give us the information here as well. It'll what we sold to them. They bought some fluorescent lights from our facility, and we charged them the amount as well as a tax. So they were charged appropriately, and as well there's a tax there. So it'll give us a sales receipt, then we can actually print that. If we print preview on this particular sales receipt, this is what would print out on your printer. And then we would give that to the customer. We'll click close on that. So that's the various forms, some of the forms that we could use. The other things that we can do is build them by using statements. And that's another thing that you can go into a little bit later. And then there's also looking at the statements. Statements, customer statements, it's typically utilized is when the customer has not been paying their bills, so we can give them a monthly statement based on their activity. And to generate the statement from the customer menu, we can click on and choose Create Statements, and then we can look at the various open items that the customer still owes us from any particular period of time, and it'll create these statements for us. So as we continue to do business in billing clients and they might fall a little behind on payments, we can generate these statements and send them a statement which will give them a summary of all the activity from a given point of time. So that's how we can look at those various forms. And of course, we want to make sure that we're going to choose the proper form in QuickBooks. We can customize those invoices. We can customize our sales receipts. We can actually use the canned forms that Intuit provides us, which is the product invoices and professional invoices and service invoices. So we can choose the various different types of invoices that we can generate. I always recommend customizing your invoice, using and importing your logo and that sort of thing, so that your customers will feel like they are special and that you're doing a good business there. So the